Metal Gear Solid 5 isn't far away now, and we've played a good chunk of the start of the game. In many ways it's the most serious, realistic Metal Gear Solid game yet.
Afghanistan is a big place. I expect you'll become quite familiar with those binoculars as you plan your next move.
There's dynamic day and night and weather cycles, huge, beautifully realised sandbox environments, and a complex military resource system based on gradually building up Mother Base, which is your home/repurposed oil rig. But don't worry, there's also cars slipping on poop, hiding in boxes, and women who wear barely any clothes because... Basically what we're saying is, while Konami appears to be busy erasing his name from all the marketing material, Metal Gear Solid 5 contains plenty of the Hideo Kojima weirdness you know, love, and are occasionally slightly embarrassed about explaining to your non-MGS playing friends. Here are the 5 most Kojima moments from our still relatively brief time spent with the game. The Fulton recovery balloon system was a feature of Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker for capturing enemy soldiers and sending them back to Mother Base, but it's now a huge part of MGS5 and you can Fulton a wide variety of stuff, pretty much everything actually. With the required upgrades you can Fulton heavy stuff like this Jeep, or this container, though you don't want to hang around on it, otherwise you'll accidentally Fulton yourself back to Mother Base. The most fun though is Fultoning the local wildlife, like this sheep. We even managed to Fulton an enormous bear back to Mother Base, though in hindsight that seems a bit of a liability on a remote offshore platform. Oh hey, talking of wildlife. Sooner or later during a mission you're going to be distracted by the most adorable puppy in video games. If you only ever listen to one piece of advice we give you, then make it this. No one ever really wins an internet argument. If you're prepared to listen to another piece of advice, then make sure you Fulton the puppy. D-Dog, or Dee as he's known for short, will grow up as the game progresses and eventually, like the character Quiet, becomes a companion who you can bring with you on missions, taking the place of your horse, who is known as D-Horse. Does Kojima know what D is usually short for? Anyway, he's also missing an eye, which, along with being quite hairy and gruff, makes 3 things he has in common with Snake. Look at that eye patch.
A little polish. I'd say we got a true diamond dog on our hands.
The third most Kojima moment is the bit where a giant on-fire whale eats a helicopter. I mean, I have a point about it as well. Even though most of the released gameplay has emphasised the more plausible military stuff, there's a large supernatural element to the game. There's a version of MGS3 character Volgin who is entirely made of fire and thus hates sprinkler systems, a gas mask wearing kid who can fly and may well be Psycho Mantis, plus a bunch of creepy teleporting zombie soldiers who appear out of the mist from time to time. And the whale itself is also one of a ton of references to Moby Dick, which includes the mysterious character Ishmael. So yeah, plenty of bizarre Metal Gear fiction to get your teeth into.
You can listen to the tapes you picked up using your iDroid. If you're interested, why not play them while you're on the move?
Alright, we can't really illustrate this one properly because if we use any licensed music on YouTube, the music industry's copyright enforcement drones appear outside our window and it's Goodnight Vienna. But basically, this being set in 1985, Snake's packing an original Sony Walkman on this mission. And while that's useful for listening to Intel tapes, there are also boomboxes dotted around the game at various guard outposts playing hits from the 1980s. Steal the tape from the player and it's added to your collection, meaning you too can clear out an enemy outpost to the sound of Rebel Yell by Billy Idol, just like I did. There is no better risk-reward mechanic in games than potentially jeopardizing a sensitive mission so you can swipe a copy of Take On Me by Aha. So, last time we got a look at the Mother Base resource menu, the characters had boring military-sounding names like Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and so on, which is not very Metal Gear. The best Metal Gear character names are an adjective and an animal, you know, like Psycho Mantis or Laughing Octopus or Punished Snake. Them's the rules. Fortunately, the last time we played, every soldier you Fulton back to base gets their own call sign, which is exactly that combination. So you end up with a Mother Base full of guys called stuff like Dire Viper and Stalking Zebra. Usually they're just strange, but every so often the randomization dishes up something genuinely hilarious, like when I got one called Hungry Hippo. I shit you not. So there you go, 5 things that make clear that pretty and gritty as it is, Metal Gear Solid 5 is still very much a Kojima game at heart. With the man himself rumoured to be all but done with Konami, we'd better make the most of it when it arrives on September the 1st. Let us know in the comments your all-time favourite bit of Kojima eccentricity, and like and subscribe if you enjoyed this for more on Metal Gear Solid 5. See you next time.